Hello and welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers Lore. Today we'll be discussing none other than Connor McKnight, the Red Ranger from Dinothunder. Connor McKnight, the soccer star of Reefside High School. He is the player of a local club, as well as entirely focused on basically becoming the next big superstar of the world. That is his entire goal in life. He is the super jock of the school, super popular, super, intense, and kind of only one-track minded. It's only towards soccer and girls, kind of. However, his entire life is thrown upside down when he is sent to detention along with two other students, Kira Ford and Ethan James. However, only two of them actually deserved to go to detention. You see, Connor was so focused on his next big soccer career that he decided he was going to skip school and not go to class at all. Even though he was out school doing, next to nothing. He was just kind of hanging around. Well, he gets caught by the principal and basically said, "Come with me." And it wasn't gonna be too bad, probably like a day's worth of detention. However, Ethan James is also causing some mischief too and hacks the entire sprinkler system and causes it all to go off at once, further infuriating an already ticked off dean of discipline or principal, whatever you want to call her. And along with Kira Ford, who was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, also gets thrown into detention. Now, it's mainly because of Ethan here. I'm going to tell this right now. Ethan's the reason cause that all three students here are forced to go to a detention that is a weeks long. Yes, weeks long detention. And all Kira did was play music. So, good job. But she did it without a permit, which I don't think you need a permit. I think it's just an excuse for her to, be a jerk. I don't know. Evil principal, whatever. Now, the three are all turned upside down. They're about to spend an entire week's worth of time after school going to detention. But their detention teacher is also their science teacher, Tommy Oliver, who basically doesn't want to get stuck with them either. He has other plans. He was just attacked not too recently. By some things, and he's going, okay, I don't need this at this time, whatever. And so he takes them to the woods and goes, hey, you guys kind of just, if you guys find anything prehistoric, I don't care what it is, it could be a rock or anything, I'll cancel detention this week for you guys. And they go, deal. And they go off in the woods immediately, yeah. But they're kind of all sitting together, which is a smart thing for once to do. But you can quickly realize that they are all clashing lifestyles. Again, like I said, Connor is more of the atypical jock. He's popular, but he's so focused on himself. There's Kira, who is not focused on anything besides her music career and is too cool to basically get involved at all. Yes, she doesn't want to be, she's so tomboyish, she doesn't want to get involved with anybody else's stuff. And she goes, I'm too cool for this, even though she's not that cool because she has no friends that I know of beyond those two eventually. You see Connor's other friends and you see Ethan's other friends, but you never see Kira's other friends. And then Ethan is just too involved with video games that he's just a super nerd that he really clashes heads right then and there with Connor, because Ethan will say words, but Connor go, I don't know what the heck you're talking about, man. You're way on another level of speaking, and he's like, it's because you're stupid. And Connor's going, okay, I will beat you up. It's basically how they meet with each other. Now, eventually, the three fall into a hole. Yes, a hole, and end up in this weird cave. They navigate the cave, and it comes to what looks to be like a dino fossil in the wall. And they're like, oh, this is cool. This is weird. Does this count as prehistoric? We're no longer going to be in detention. And they touch the jaw, and it opens up, revealing a secret base. And they're going, okay, this turned from I'm going to get out of detention to a mystery science theater monster bad scientist type thing. And they're like, okay, so everyone be careful. And the first thing that they all do is see a cauldron kind of bubbling with some mysterious smoke. They walk up to it and see 3 glowing gems, a red, a blue, and a yellow one. And the first thing they do is touch it. Yeah, they touch it, like literally touch it. And they're not zapped, but they kind of are zapped. They just don't, like, if you see a surge of energy pass through them all, as they are suddenly bonded with these Dino gems. And they go, well, okay, whatever, and then just pocket them, like normal teenage stuff do. They go, well, this counts. And they walk out of the said base and are immediately attacked by these weird, strange monsters known as Tyrannodrones, which are like chimeric hybrid dinosaur human bioengineered cybernetic stuff. I don't know exactly what they are. They didn't make any sense to me back in the day, and they still don't to this day. But they are the minions of the week, and they are there to kick butt. Now, the teenagers are immediately run, are chased, and, well, eventually they are able to basically fight off these guys. That's when they realize that, well, Ethan has really tough skin. I mean, like, super tough skin, like, extremely tough mega skin that, like, can't be pierced easily. And as well as enhanced strength. Kira can scream really loud and send everyone flying back. And, well, Connor has super speed. They all fight them off, and they're all impressive for this. Now, Kira's done with it. She hands over her Dino Gem to Connor or Ethan. I can't quite remember which one. And it goes, whatever. I'm not getting involved with this. Now, just before that, they had just met Tommy and Oliver again, who asked if they had seen anything weird. They're like, nope, nothing weird at all. Don't worry about it. And he goes, okay, well, have a good day. Well, Kira's soon been kidnapped by Mesogog, and Connor and Ethan are forced to basically go to Tommy and go, okay, we took these Dino Gems, and she's gone. She's been taken by this monster, and we need help. Now, they all go, okay, well, that means you guys are revealed that they're going to be Power Rangers, and essentially they begin to like finalize a plan of like how to save Kira. And they go, what is she, like, it's not like she's going to save herself and like land in front of us. She literally lands in front of them like through the teleporter, and after she escaped Mesogod's lab, and meets up with them immediately. And yeah, later, like, they become the Rangers for the first time all together. They summon their Zords, and they do battle, guys. They do pretty well. As Red Ranger, he's given control of the Tyrannozord, a newer, upgraded, more powerful original Tyrannozord. It's different from the other one. Like, it's not the original one rehashed. This is a completely different one. But it's got a dino drill tail, and is basically most of the entire body of the actual Megazord all put together when the 3 combined. It is like, I want to say 70% of the body, because the only thing that it's not is the arms. And it's only like it's one of its tails is the arm. The other, like, it's pretty impressive that this one Zord compiles of 70% of the actual true Megazord. But it does happen. And, however, he is giving his signature weapon of the Tyranno Staff, which is like a spearhead that works well with speed, and he doesn't truly utilize it completely, in my opinion, of like all his attacks that he could do with his spear and his super speed. But hey, whatever. Now, soon after this, Connor starts to have doubts of being a Power Ranger, because mainly he really wants to become a super soccer star, guys. This was not the life he chose. He just picked up a rock and became super empowered. He's like going, I don't know how I feel about this, guys. I don't want to be, if I get injured, I can't be the super star that I want to be. And he's starting to get opportunities now from like reps and the like showing up, and his coach is like getting on him. He's like, oh, you can't just leave games because of this. And he's like going, I can't. Yeah, I literally can't. I could get in trouble. I could ruin my entire career of being a future soccer star. And he starts having all these doubts. Now the rest of the guys are going like, how dare you, like, whatever. But Kira doesn't have a career yet, mind you, and I bet if she did, and she later eventually starts trying to get a career, and at that point they go, you need to focus on other things suddenly. Yeah, like she's like, oh, I'm just a singer-songwriter, whatever. And Ethan just has no career as far as I've seen. He's just basically like a kid who plays video games. That's it. and downloads anime all the time. Like, the only one who's immediately done this is Connor, and he's having all these doubts because he wants other focuses in life. He realizes that this will take up 90% of his entire life. Now, he does have a talk with Tommy, and Tommy goes, "This is up to you, man. I understand. We've all been in situations." Because when Tommy was just starting out as a good Green Ranger, he's given decisions of like, hey, I could become a movie star. I don't have to be a ranger and the like. So he knows what it's like. He's like, well, I understand. You weren't chosen by some floating head in the like. You were instead chosen by fate, apparently. But you can still choose otherwise. But you can't be debonded from the gem, essentially, is what they're saying. But like, okay, whatever. But he has his doubts, and he goes one more mission as a ranger, and he goes, okay, it's fine. He saves a little girl from some Pteranodons that are going to kidnap her, and after the battle, she like thanks him, like gives him a hug and all this type of stuff, and Connor goes, crap. This is exactly what I'm fighting for. It's not about the soccer star. Like, soccer's can come and go, but this little girl would have died or been like tortured or eaten. I don't know. Like, anything bad could have happened to that little girl, and Connor saved the day, and it really affects him with the abilities like going, I know what I have to do. I have to be a Power Ranger to make sure that no one else could have ended up like that little girl almost did. So that's his entire focus, and he makes a decision right there. He's like, I'm going to be a soccer star, but I'm going to have to manage my time better and go from there, which is a huge growth thing from what we saw 2 to 3 episodes before with Connor, who's just cares only really about himself and his own little soccer star, to now caring about other people more than his soccer career. Now, as a Red Ranger, he is supposed to be technically the leader, and I'm putting air quotes right now if you guys don't see it, because you can't. He's supposed to be leader. However, when you have Tommy Oliver as your mentor, it's hard to be leader. I'm just gonna tell you right now, because he has the resume of a literal god, like resume of a complete literal god, and you can't compete with that. But for the most part, Tommy is keeping it under wraps that he was a Power Ranger. He's just very knowledgeable, and they go, okay, whatever. Connor's still kind of in leading the patrol, but they always call back to Tommy as like for information and all these different things. Well, that's when things go wire when Tommy is kidnapped by Mesogog. Now, the rest of the group doesn't learn about this at all, and they're going, where the hell is Tommy? He's been missing from school. Dr. O is like really sucking at his job, and I have some questions to ask. Essentially, it's kind of what they go back to. So they kind of go back to his base, hack his computer, and find out within like 5 seconds of doing this, like he has an entire file of his entire past history, which is not like, if he has really poor like history of like security, guys. Like, he has really bad security system for his computer. That's how simple it was. Like, it's pretty simple how easily they break into like his computer system. And like, Ethan might be smart, but like, there's no way that he's that smart to immediately click the thing that should have been hidden further than like a second behind everything. So they find out that his entire life story as a Power Ranger, that he was the first Green Ranger at Angel Grove and the like, and he goes through it all, and then after he's a Ranger, he's giving all up to like a basic quick synopsis of what's happening with all the other teams and the like. And this is where Connor goes, I know the Ninja Storm Rangers. That's legit, because my brother tried to join their essentially school, but he flunked out because he's a bit of an airhead. And he goes, yeah, my brother's a bit of an airhead. He's like the black sheep of the family. That's when we find out 2 things. He's got a twin brother who looks exactly like him that we never see in the series, and who wanted to become a ninja but failed. And we find out that most of the time, I think Connor didn't believe most of the story until he got to that point and goes, I know that bit of information. I understand exactly what's going on now. He may or may not be telling the truth. So right then and there, you're going, okay, that's interesting. That's weird. But whatever, okay. And they kind of realize that Tommy is more what's going on there. Then you also find out that there's someone else involved that helped Tommy create the morphers and the like. And she is none other than the very same person in charge of the cyber cafe, Haley, and she is very, very devoted to, well, none other than Tommy and his mission. They apparently met in college and worked out since then to create their. I don't know how it came up, like on. Probably Haley's really smart and very observant, so she probably realized, like, oh, you're Tommy from this. You must have been a Power Ranger probably watching this. And he's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. She's like, oh, no, I understand. Don't worry, I'll keep your secret. That's just all dramatization. I don't know if that actually happened, but we can probably figure out that it probably did, because we know that Tommy's not very good at keeping secrets at times, especially from women. Now, after this point, they realize that they have to go save Tommy, because they realize, hey, he's been kidnapped, and they're gonna go save the day. Now, this is when they're giving raptor cycles. Now, an episode or two beforehand, they were given not raptor cycles, but like raptor riders. Yes, like they were hatched special raptors that they could ride on. You're like going, that's pretty cool, but immediately thrown aside for something better that are more faster, and they're basically motorcycles that they can ride on. And these things are not just like super fast. I mean, like, they're ridiculously fast, because they can go up to 526 miles per hour to reach the invisiportal without being destroyed. So they can cross that barrier and come to an exact stop when they come through that portal, which is even that. Whew, man, that just hurts my neck thinking about it, guys. So that's what they do. They basically charge through the invisiportal. They find one open, and they rescue Tommy, who basically has been tortured a little bit by Mesogog and the like. And Tommy basically does his own kickboxing type of fighting style in there. He breaks free along with the Rangers, and he goes, leave, don't worry, I'm about to do something. He grabs a mysterious power source that he didn't want them to the bad forces to have. He then also reveals that what's encased in the Dino Gem is in this giant rock that's clear, is a black Dino Gem, and he becomes the Black Dino Ranger, because he goes, I felt there's another power source similar to you guys's. I knew there was gonna be things, so I had this morpher already ready to go. And he awakens his Brachiosaur, as well as his, I'm not very good at pronouncing this, Cephalanazord. That's not how it is pronounced. I realized that as soon as I said it, but it doesn't matter. You're done with it. And you now have Tommy as the Black Ranger, veteran Ranger, going to help the team and possibly maybe steal the light from Connor. Well, things get a little bit heated. Connor and Kira have a heart-to-heart here and there. Kira's friend is in town, and she is a big-time superstar. Nobody really believes Kira actually knows this person, except for Tommy, but he kind of like says it in like a adult backhanded comments, like going, I don't care, I believe you, and then just abruptly walks away. Like going, I don't think you do, but I think you're just saying it because you're a really nice guy. I don't know, like, it just felt weird. But Connor goes with Kira to the signing for this big superstar, and it's revealed right then and there that Connor is like going, holy crap, you do know her. She's just kind of a bitch. Yeah, like that's a nice way of saying that. And he's like going, da, 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 and kind of is more like, from that point on, takes Kira on as like more serious role and goes, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying here. You're right. And I should listen to you more. Like, you're not lying. I don't know why you would lie about this stuff. And so from that point on, it's just like a little episode, like a little 5-second thing, but it's a major thing for Connor, because he starts to see them more as his friends from this point on. And other people are going like, why are you hanging out with these losers like Ethan, James, and Kira? Like, we can understand Kira because she's like, maybe you're attracted to her in some fashion because she's off the wall, but Ethan James, he's kind of just a super king of the nerds. And remember, he's super popular, and he doesn't really like respond to it most of the time. He's like, oh, no, they're helpful, they're friends, and they're like, okay, whatever. They're not gonna ask too much about it. And like, this is the first time where he actually starts like treating them as like this. I don't think he ever has like the same level of emotional attachment as he does with Kira than with Ethan. Like, there's just no blending episode that really calls to mind for this. So, and it's not that he's like attracted to her either. Like I think I think it's more like a brother sister like vibe feeling it. It just kind of had that feeling there. Like they're more supportive of each other, because I think he has a goal and she kind of has a very similar goal. She wants to be the best at what she is going to be a singer-songwriter, and he wants to be the best at what he is. So they kind of have that same working together mentality. Now, beyond that, this is when things get a little more interesting at this point, because immediately there's a new ranger on the stage, and this one wasn't to be expected at all. Now, Tommy has no idea what's going on when suddenly this monster comes in town and starts kicking some butt, but he's not there to look for, well, any color of red, blue, black, or yellow. No, he's looking for another one, a white off color. And they're going, what are you talking about? And then the monster's brutally slain in front of them within a matter of seconds. And you're going, what the heck just happened? Well, there's a new ranger on stage, the White Ranger. But this little bit different from all the other rangers here. He's evil. Yeah, he's evil, and he's here to mess the day. But he doesn't work for the big bad Mesogog. Instead, he works for himself. No one really knows why he's doing this, but he's just showing up and he's kicking butt, taking names, and doing what he's doing best, which is messing up basically the boundaries of what is a Power Ranger and what is good and evil. Now, the Rangers come and do several different conflicts, and they get their butts kicked handily several different times. Now, mind you, they all have enhanced powers because the Dino Gem. Let's refresh real quick. Connor has super speed. Ethan McKnight has basically super skin. He's very tough and strong. And Kira can scream really loud. Well, I'm not exactly certain what Tommy's Black Dino Gem does, but I know we know one thing for the White Dino Gem: camouflage and super speed. It does both. He's able to go invisible as well as super speed entirely. That is something impressive on so many different levels. Now, this is kind of upsetting for Connor, who only has super speed, and he instantly becomes quick rivalry with this guy. Now, they're all trying to figure out who this White Ranger is, who is basically stolen several of their Zords and turned them evil, is beating up their day. It's revealed that he doesn't work for anybody. He's fighting off the force of darkness as well as the Rangers themselves, and is beating up both ends of the spectrum. And everyone's going, this is a problem we have to stop. Well, somebody else in their background, his name is Trent, and he has been working at Haley's Cyber Cafe for a little bit here and there. And you find out that Trent has some very rich parents and the like, and that he is, well, out and about looking for different things. Now, Trent has become friends with these Rangers, but the Rangers don't know. Well, Trent doesn't know that they're Rangers. So all this stuff happens, and things escalate after that point, because it's revealed that Trent is basically in possession of the White Dino Gem, and it is sapping his life force. It is literally like possessing him entirely, and there. Now, Trent is such a good person, like, per se, and he's corrupted so wholly by the gem that he has no memories of what's going on during this time. So, there is that. Now, they instantly start to become like a head clash on thing, and it kind of starts when Kira kind of gets close to Trent and realizes that Trent is the Dino Ranger after this point, and she reveals it to the rest of the team, and Connor's like really upset because he already has a kind of rivalry issue with this guy, because this guy is just beating him and he doesn't like to lose. So there's a big rivalry issue going on there, and things go on from this point on. Issues head out, and they come to a clash. Connor meets Trent in the battlefield, and because just after this, she's summoned, and Kira and Trent have this on get off again relationship type of thing going on there. And I think Connor sees kind of Kira as his sister, as I said earlier, so he's very protective of her. And then there's just a bunch of situations where she's almost killed by the White Ranger, and Connor's just done with it, and he goes to do battle against the White Ranger, and basically do this really intense battle. Connor activates his super Dino mode, gives him more spikiness, and uses it to take on Trent. Sorry for the loss of connection there. I had like a brain fart, but they have this big battle, and then there's a huge fierce fight going on, and Connor ends up beating, well, the White Ranger with his sheer determination and all that, and it seems like he almost kills the White Ranger, and he's like going, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do that, I just meant to defeat you, but I have all this power, I just didn't, I'm so sorry. And he like kind of runs to the body, and then he drops his blaster, and the first thing the White Ranger does is grabs the blaster and tries to shoot Connor right then and there, and Connor's going, what the heck just happened here? And it just shows you how evil the White Ranger is, and how willing he's willing to, like, you know, I can't be overpowered by you, but I can throw you off mentally to put in a position where you're gonna die. So that then there, the battle is interrupted, and they flee different directions. Trent then basically leaves a note for Kira going, I'm leaving town, don't look for me, I'm gonna figure this whole thing out about this dark side, don't worry about it. And the only person that kind of like is really feels responsible for this is Kira, and she goes, okay, I understand, we can't just we can just let him go. And Connor's like, oh, no, he's evil, guys, we can't just let him go. And he goes, well, it's not matter, we can't track him. And they're like, oh, well, we can, but we can't. If he transforms, we can find him. So like, okay, as long as he's not going evil, we won't stop him at this point. Well, while he was trying to leave town, a strange meteor crashes to Earth, and this meteor has the power to switch the personalities of people, do like a complete 180. Trent is super good, so when he's hit by the power of the meteor, he's turned to super evil, not just in Ranger form, but also in normal, like, everyday form. So he's like gone to evil supreme Ranger who has his own motivations entirely, and he will destroy anyone he wants. Connor is turned into from a jock to a super nerd. Yes, like a librarian professor-esque super nerd. Kira is turned into a 50s girl who cares only about fashion and her nails. And, well, Ethan is transformed into, well, let's just think here, a jock who's really, really focused on his muscles. Yep, all about those gains, boys, those gains. Other than that, they believe that Trent, who's disguising himself as being good, he goes like, the meteor saved me, guys. Like, I'm good now. I'm fully good. And they're like, oh, okay. And then he proceeds to betray them all by turning Dr. O into a, well, he turns him into essentially like an ambersicle. Yeah, like frozen in amber entirely, and leaves him there for several episodes. Yeah, so that's all done there. After that point, Connor and the group are going like, well, we can't trust Trent because he'll turn us into amber sickles, and apparently he's just evil, so he's a jerk. So there's a lack of trust going on there. Now, during one of the offshoots there, Connor and Kira find Ethan late at night watching at the cyber cafe, watching some weird Japanese show, and it's finding out it's basically the Sentai version of their show that going on, and that the Japanese are kind of like making fun of them and their exploits. And Kira and Ethan are really delighted by this, but Connor is disgusted. And you're like, why would he be disgusted? It's kind of funny. Go, well, think about this in context, guys. The other two kind of like, they're like, okay, cool, we're Rangers, but they've been laughed at most of their time, like by different levels of things like that, so they can take criticism and stuff like this. Connor is high school superstar. He is driven to become the best. He doesn't take criticism very well, and he doesn't take being laughed at very well. He doesn't like to lose, so you'd have the same thing going like, why would these people make fun of me? I'm literally saving their day and making sure the world's safe, but this is BS. But eventually he does warm up to the show, and he even writes his class paper about it, and how basically they see us and the way we see ourselves. So it actually helps him improve. upon his own character development right there by him watching a basically parody version of himself they're going on there. Now, eventually, Trent is saved and made good once and for all, much to the chagrin of Connor, who doesn't really trust Trent at all. But eventually, he's like going, whatever, I'll accept you. Doesn't matter. But I don't trust you. And it doesn't help when a clone version of the White Dino Ranger shows up and starts kicking out. He goes, you can't trust Trent! And he basically just goes on this whole tirade, and then this other monster known as the Pterosaur shows up and beats the crap out of all of them. Like, they're all heavily beat up. Tommy is going, freed from his amber, and going, okay, we have to think of something here, and I have an idea, but it's involving an artifact I found years ago and hid behind a waterfall. Don't worry about it, guys. We need this. It'll give us the extra power to boost. We need to defeat these guys. And Connor's like going, okay, I'll go with you. And he goes, no, we need you guys to heal up. I'm going to take Trent. And it probably kind of is like going, what? You're going to take this guy who's betrayed you so many different times? How can you trust him? But he goes, whatever. Well, when Tommy and Trent begin to unleash this shield that's hidden behind the waterfall, Connor keeps hearing a call from something, and he's like, what the heck is that? And he eventually shows up right on time to claim the Shield of Triumph that they had unlocked from behind the waterfall. They had basically poured a bunch of their power into it. And upon seeing his full power, each Dino Ranger has to contribute part of themselves into it. Like, they have basically like, okay, everyone pours in there, which is not uncommon because Kira and Ethan have done this several different times when they did their blaster. Like, okay, contributing the power, done this thing, super attack, boom. This is for all of them. He has to take in the energy of Tommy and Trent. And he doesn't trust Trent at all, but he's like going, okay, whatever. I'll take it. We could defeat your evil self because I'm literally watching you here as this monster of evil version of you is here. And it's not in the same body. We'll work together. He then becomes the Triassic Ranger. After morphing, it acts as like a super weapon, giving him the ability to travel to another dimension known as the Triassic Dimension. And what is the Triassic Dimension, you may be asking? I don't know. I'm gonna assume it's where like all the Zords go. It's like a pocket dimension of the morphing grid where like all the Dino Zords are. So like you could probably, even ones in the past are probably there. I don't know. I'm just gonna assume that, and we're gonna go along with that because it's never really explained. Now he gains his Triassic powers, and Haley discovers that he's got his own special Zord. And it's like a chariot pulled Zord, and it's pretty awesome. And he basically, you think, oh, hey, he's found his battleizer, guys. But it's not. In truth, technically speaking, guys, if you guys didn't know this, the Triassic Ranger wasn't meant to be a power-up. It was meant to be a new Ranger. But they decided to cut the budget and just make it into Connor, into his new form. So we were supposed to get a 6th Ranger, but we never did. And this is why. Yes. However, we do get a cool form of Connor here in his new Ranger form with his Jurassic Ranger fighting style. Now, Connor comes across something else entirely here too, and it's one of the greatest things of his life, or so he believes at the time. His newest thing is his love interest in this new girl named Krista, and he is hot for her. Like she denies him, which turns him on more, and he goes looking for her and tries to like flirt and all these different things that would work on a normal girl, and she's just not having it. And she basically is on fire like, you know what, if you care, come to this event. I'm trying to save this tree from being cut down. And he's like, oh, you're trying to save a tree? That's kind of weird, but whatever. I save cities. But he doesn't say that out loud. But like, you know, he's going, I can save a city. I can support this. I'll show up. I'll get this, and you realize how cool I am, and I'll get the girl. Well, this tree is more important than they originally thought. It's like a fountain of youth tree, and the girl is immediately kidnapped by Zeltrax, and Connor's like going, what the heck is going on here? And Connor has a memory of a speech from Tommy about passion, and he realizes, he's like, okay, I'm gonna save her, and maybe it's because I actually like her or something like that. He's not fully certain of his own emotions, but he realizes, like, he's like, I'm gonna save her, I'm gonna do this, all the different things, and maybe I like her, maybe not, but I'll figure it out. But he calls upon his passion as a savior, as a ranger, and maybe as loving something more than just himself. He's always been developing towards this entirely, and activates the Jurassic Ranger on his own, which is impressive because usually you need all the Rangers to donate their energy, and he's able to get past that. And by doing this, unlocks his own Battleizer and becomes the Battleized Jurassic Ranger, and has more armor, complete redesign of his entire armor stuff, and gains super stretchy arms, and basically shoulder-mounted blasters. Yeah, which just decimate the forces of darkness and defeat Zeltrax and sends all the villains hiding. And he's like, I'm pretty badass. And he kind of like starts flirting with the girl after the fact, but doesn't reveal he's a ranger. And he's like, oh, that's pretty cool, the Red Ranger. I'm like, I'm here to support you. And he starts like supporting her too on many different levels and starts doing things that she likes. However, soon after this, he and his fellow Rangers sacrifice their Dino powers to save Earth from the Meso monster, which is basically God super hyped up on his own juices. They have to sacrifice all their powers as well as all their Zords to destroy him once and for all. But he's able to keep his T-Rex speed abilities, which is bonded to his DNA forever. So they have to DNA scrub him entirely to remove this. But he's like going, no, I'm super cool. I'm going to keep the super speed. And he does this. However, he, at the same time, no longer being held down by his Ranger thing, he's able to hook up with Krista and takes her to high school prom. And then, apparently, after this, starts his own soccer camp. He's going to teach the youth of today and all this stuff. And apparently, in 20 years, he's told, he will become famous for his soccer camps all over the country. Yes, all over the country, he's become super. He's doing his goal, but he doesn't. I don't know if that's really what he really wanted. I know he kind of wanted to be like. Originally, he wanted to be like a soccer star. I don't think he really wanted to start his own soccer camps, but he's evolved so much where like that's his goal now, and he wants to help people rather than just become famous on his own merits alone. Now, the Rangers themselves have had several different team ups, and Connor has been teamed up with the Ninja Storm Rangers beforehand. Nothing really major came out of that thing to really be brought up for any type of changes here and there. But he quickly realizes that there are other Rangers, that Tommy isn't just the only one they're going to meet. And he's going, this is pretty cool. And he kind of like brings up the fact that he meets up with the Ninja Storm Rangers, helps save them with the other Rangers and the like from the Force of Darkness. However, his biggest qualification is when Rangers from the future come back and save the day alongside them twice. Yes, the SPD Rangers have a little bit of an issue. Broodwing goes back in time and kidnaps some special teenagers from the year 2005 or so, and takes them back to, well, the future to basically join his evil army of darkness. Now, during his first year high school reunion, yes, this is not a thing, guys. There is no 1 year high school reunion. There is no first year high school reunion. There is a 10-year reunion or a 5-year. There's no one goes after a year of getting out of high school going, man, I can't wait to go back and see all those people who've changed. Hardly at all. That doesn't happen, but apparently that's what they were doing here. Connor is brought back to the future along with his fellow Rangers, such as Kira and Ethan, and Broodwing basically goes, hey, I propose an alliance. I will give you back your Dino Gems, and you guys can join me and we can conquer the world. And they go, no. And he's like, what? And he's like, I'm not doing that. And they steal the Dino Gems and escape. Now, they are attacked and confronted by Broodwing again, who goes, okay, this might have gone wrong the first time, but let me offer it again to you. I want you to join me. And they go, no. And he goes, oh, fine. You know what? I'm just gonna have to kill you now. That's when the B Squad shows up to protect these civilians from Broodwing's attack. And now the B Squad introduces themselves as Power Rangers, but then they're like, Connor and them are going, you might be the Power Rangers, but we're also the Power Rangers, and we're cooler. What's going on here? And they're like going, what? What do you mean what's going on here? And then they quickly realize, like, holy crap, these guys are the Dinothunder Rangers. And they're taken back to their big Delta base and are given a tour. And Connor starts flirting immediately with Sid, the Pink Ranger. And it makes you think right then and there that Krista and him broke up. So, love of his life isn't really love his life. That's why I never said she was love of his life. More of just like a passing interest. But I feel as though they had a conflict of interest. Like she was so focused on her nature adventures, and he was so focused on his soccer camps that it just wasn't meshing well. So yeah, goodbye, Krista. Hello, Sid. He's then also introduced Doggy and Cat, and when he meets Doggy, he assumes that it's going to be an alien. Like, they all assume like it's an alien monster that's attacking, and they quickly realize that Doggy is actually a ranger, and that Cat is also just a hot Dr. Cat Girl. And basically, the Dino Rangers are helped to deter. They're like, you know what? You guys are cool. We're going to help you take on Broodwing so we can get back. And the SPD Rangers are going, no, you can't interfere. They're like, you can't do that. And they're like, what do you mean we can't do that? They're like, you can't do that. They're like, we're not going to let you. Well, whatever. Well, B Squad goes up against a bunch of Cryobot army, and they're getting their butts kicked. And the Dino Rangers are like going, hey, we're going to help out. We can do this. And Doggy Critter goes, no, you can't. If you guys get injured here, you might not. It might affect the future here and prevent this from happening at all. We might not exist. Like, certain things could end up really badly. You can't do this. But they go, we're not going to listen to you, you dog man. We're going to do what we want. And they basically go to fight the battle without any morphers. But Dr. Cat basically goes, I can synthesize some morphers, and basically sends it, teleports them, and they do battle and are able to fight off the entire army of Cryobots, along with Doggy Kruger and the like, all showing up and doing battle. Now, they also eventually are sent back after this and have their memories wiped so that they can't take any of the information they learned in the future back with them to the past, and wipes their memory entirely. Now, when this happens, nobody really remembers anybody except for Doggy Kruger. Kind of has like a thing here and there. And they end up ends the episode with them going back to the past and going to their year 1 anniversary. You're like, okay, that's interesting, but whatever. And then the SPD Rangers would eventually go back in time again. This time back in time to Reefside High to stop Grum from basically making an alliance with Zeltrax to basically wipe out the Rangers once and for all. But this is not set after the 1 year. This is set during the time when there's like a gap period between the Jurassic Ranger having his thing after his like little love interest with Krista, and before the end of the series. So somewhere between there, and the Rangers kind of like all meet again. But Connor and the rest have no idea who they are, because technically they haven't had their minds wiped, but they haven't met these guys yet either. And this time, also Trent and Tommy are also involved, and they all kind of work together and team up and defeat this army that Grum has sent down here along with Zeltrax. And Connor and Jack have their battleizer moment of working together to defeat a monster and the like. They beat them all up, and right then and there, they're done. And after the battle's won, Doggy comes up and wipes all their memories, and basically wipes all the SPD memories as his own from like them learning any information at all necessary for the Power Rangers here. So it's more like going, so this episode was never meant to happen. Don't worry about it. If you guys don't remember, it never happened at all. Right then and there. That's kind of the end story for Connor. Like, he would eventually show up in like little clips in here and there for Megaforce and in mission training and the like for Power Rangers. You see his Ranger popping up every once in a while with like in the battle of like Super Megaforce, and then in Beast Morphers he kind of appears there fighting alongside all the other Dino Rangers of legend, but that's kind of it. He doesn't remove his helmet, he doesn't say anything, and they all fight the Chimera Zord against Evox, and they do defeat it when all their Zords combine there. The only explanation on things, guys, that is given to why they suddenly show up during that time and during the Super Mega Battle is only until Dino Fury, is where it's revealed that the Green Morphing Master basically summoned them forth to do all those different things, and one of them was like to basically, hey, we need you to, here's your powers back, you're gonna go fight this fight and save the day. and then teleports them back. I don't know if their memories are wiped after this or not, but I think so, or they're just like all these different weird things going on there. I'm not 100% certain exactly what happened, but one can assume that Connor would gladly jump at the attention to be a ranger again along with everybody else to save the day, even if it's only for like a day itself. But yeah, that is the story of Connor McKnight, the Red Ranger with the enhanced speed of a T-Rex and deadly beyond all compare, who went from a jock who only cared about his own soccer career to a big boss hero that cares more about people than about himself at times. He's willing to throw himself into the thick of things and protect them all here and there. I hope you guys enjoy that. This video was very long. It was a lot longer. I had to redid this video twice and it somehow got longer. Impressive. I hope you guys enjoy this. Be sure to say something in the comments, and if you don't, that's fine too, but I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it entirely. Have a good one, and may the power protect you always, guys.